What's up, everybody? It appears that Andrew Yang needs a little bit of education when it comes to the Israel-Palestine conflict. Let's just say one of his recent takes leaves a lot to be desired. Thanks for tuning in to this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. So, Andrew Yang, in an interview, was asked about whether or not funding should be increased or decreased to Israel and his overall take on the Israel-Palestine conflict. I'm not going to lie. He disappointed me a little bit here. Actually, he disappointed me a lot. I'll just let you all listen to his take on the issue, and then we'll take it from there.
In terms of the money we're giving to an ally like Israel, my first instinct would be like, why would we reduce it? So certainly if I communicated something else, like that's not the idea at all. There are certain relationships we have that, to me, we need to rebuild and strengthen. And I would suggest that our relationship with Israel is one of them.
And what about the Arabs?
A long time, they should feel like they're being rewarded for that, frankly. And then if someone has an interest in working with us, we should be open to rewarding that too. But for each country, like you'd have to look at what's going on at that time and what the lead-in has been.
So when it comes to land in Israel that's being taken, even though it was granted to certain Palestinian families by the UN, how do you feel about constricting Israel almost to prevent that from happening, and constricting political influence by American leaders in Israel?
I'm not sure I understand the question, but I'll answer it more generally, which is, like, my stance on this is that it's going to be hard for the United States to constrict, like, an ally or really just about any of its partners in a decision that they feel is central to them, and I don't think that's our priority. It's not that we're somehow giving people aid so that we can then twist their arm about things that that they find important. In terms of the money we're giving to an ally like Israel, my first.
Oh man, I don't even know where to start. That was just a really, really bad take. So before I go into this analysis, I want people to understand something. This is not, oh my God, Yang Gang, cancel Andrew Yang, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm saying. Because I do believe that Yang does have, he's a good guy, right? I do believe he is genuine, and he tries to be genuine, but being genuine does not necessarily make you educated on an issue. I believe that Marianne Williamson found that out the hard way, right? Marianne Williamson at first wasn't for Medicare for all as it currently stands today with Jayapal's bill and Bernie Sanders' bill, until she was on that debate stage and she was listening to all the rebuttals from the neoliberals. And then she was like, during an interview with Cenk at TYT, after the debate, she said, well, at first I wasn't for Bernie's Medicare for all, but I looked around at all the people who held that same position and realized maybe I need to reevaluate my stance if all these neoliberals agree with me. So I think that, like, just because you're well-meaning and genuine doesn't mean that you're educated on an issue. And the issue of Israel and Palestine is something that I believe Yang needs to be properly educated on. And he is one of the few candidates that will actually listen to his supporters when you talk to him. He did it when it came to UBI, right? With UBI, he had at first, it wouldn't stack on top of Social Security, and it wouldn't stack on disability, or it wouldn't stack on food stamps and things like that. Now, he's changed that. He said it will stack on top of Social Security and disability. So he listens to his people. So that's why this is so important, because he comes out the gate saying, well, I don't see why we would reduce funding to them. Well, because the funding to them seems to be directly correlated with what they believe they can get away with, perhaps. Maybe because of the fact that, we don't even have to look at Palestine in this particular instance. They just bombed Syria. They did a military strike in Afghanistan, and they did a military strike in Iraq. If Iraq, Syria, or a group in Afghanistan decided to bomb Israel, we would be at war right now. That is not an exaggeration. We would be at war right now. So that's one reason why we shouldn't just be giving them money, especially unlimited amounts of money like we did with HR 1837. Another example, why wouldn't we give them money? Now, this video, to my understanding, took place before this action, but it still illustrates my point. We gave Israel unlimited amounts of money. Right after that, guess what Netanyahu decided he wanted to do? Ban Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib from coming to Israel. Why? Well, there's two reasons why. One, because we just gave them unlimited amounts of money. Why do I have to? We just emboldened them. You give someone that, it's like in the NBA, what they always say, that you have to play up to your contract. Right? Did you play up to your contract? We gave you 180 or shit. It's the NBA, so like 200 million now. So it just gave you $200 million. And what they always say is the way they determine somebody's a max player is not just by skill, but how you act on and off the court. Right? Are you behaving? Because once you get that money, it just reveals your true character or amplifies bad habits. It doesn't reduce the bad habits. So with Israel, we gave them unlimited amounts of money and it emboldened them. It didn't, hey, I'm glad you gave us this amount of money, even though we've been committing human atrocities for the last, 60 years. Because you gave us this money, I really think it's time to tone it down. I think it's time to give Palestine their land back. No! Netanyahu was like, shit, I'm banning. That's when you know you're bold. When the very Congress that gave you unlimited amounts of money, or is giving you unlimited amounts of money, then turn around and banned two of those Congress people for what? Oh, that's right. Because he literally did not want Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib talking about what was happening in Palestine. And he even granted that, eventually he granted that Rashida Tlaib could go to visit her grandmother. But guess what? As long as you don't talk about Palestine, that was the stipulation. As long as you don't talk about Palestine when you get back in any official capacity, then you can go visit your grandmother. So Andrew Yang, in that entire answer, he emphasized how we need to strengthen relationships with our allies. Israel. In my opinion, we should be asking a deeper question. Why are they our allies? Should we be allied with a country or a government like Israel who continues to commit human rights atrocities? Should we be allied with a country like Saudi Arabia as they continue to commit human rights atrocities? Why is there not enough emphasis on the self-determination, the sovereignty of Palestine in these conversations? It's my understanding that he's talked about the two-state solution and Israel and Palestine coming to the two-state solution and all that good stuff. That's all well and good. But the more that we embolden our allyship with the Israeli government, the more they feel able to get away with whatever they want to in Palestine. Because they know just about nobody else can do anything about it. Because even Putin is a little bit too close to Israel as well. So like usually in situations like in Syria or in Iran or even in Brazil, Russia would step in, but they're too close to Palestine, or to Israel. So that is a fundamental question you have to ask. Why are we even allies with them? Yeah, it may be self-serving to a degree, but I doubt it serves a lot of us. It mostly just serves the elites. It serves the elites because we have a permanent surveillance state in an area in which we wish to control their natural resources. An area that we shouldn't be in to begin with. That's why we're allies with them. So once again, you have to get down to the root of why we're even allies. Why aren't we fostering these type of relationships with the African Union? Right? We always pretend like we care so much about what's going on in Africa when it's time to go invade a country, but why aren't we fostering relationships with African countries? Like Chad, we just put Chad on the Muslim ban list. So instead of, once again, fostering a relationship with them, we put them on the Muslim ban list. No, excuse me. We did. We put Chad on the Muslim ban list. Once they got a democratically elected leader who was not favorable towards Donald Trump or the United States imperialism, we put them on the Muslim ban list. Why aren't we working with the countries and the leaders of the countries in Africa like we are trying to work, or like we do work with Israel? Why aren't we giving billions to these countries that we and the rest of the West helped ravage and destabilize, like we're giving money to Israel? Why don't we give money to Palestine like we give to Israel? Last time I checked, during the summer, it's Palestine that ends up not having running water, not Israel. What is so important about that relationship, the relationship with Saudi Arabia? Oil can only be part of it because of fracking. We make most of our own oil now. And it's not about the oil itself or producing it. It's about making sure others don't become competition, right? Capitalism. It isn't about fostering competition, it's about killing it. And if we are going to turn a blind eye, and I find it ironic because this is not the only time the United States has done something like this. Other than in Saudi Arabia with Yemen, like specifically during World War II, we turned away a bunch of Holocaust victims in the name of keeping good relations with Germany so that they wouldn't want to go to war with us. And because our corporations were funding Nazism. So Yang has to get better on this. His people, his supporters need to challenge him here. They need to be, I think Yang needs to be more diligent in challenging the military-industrial complex. I think he needs to become more, I feel like he needs to be more aware of foreign policy and all of its implications. He seems to have a pretty legit understanding of domestic policy, but hey, I don't care how much money you give out. Well, actually, I do care. I mean, if you don't give us $2,000 a month, boy, you might earn my vote. I'm just saying. But as far as the giving out $1,000 a month, that's not going to matter if you're not challenging the military-industrial complex. Because as long as you're unwilling to keep the MIC in check, you just sound like another Obama. Hope and change, the right and left and forward and all that stuff, that's cute. But we've heard these promises before. And the main people who keep these types of promises from being kept are the military-industrial complex, the foreign policy establishment. So I would love to know what your thoughts are about this. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment below, and always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.